What is up, everybody? I am Chad Brock.
Bailiff.
And you guys are watching or listening to the Orion Podcast live. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Orion Podcast. This is episode 23 that you're watching here tonight. We're glad to have you here.
We're having... Oh, the button don't work. You forgot to turn it on.
That's where we're at with that.
That was loud.
It was loud. It was very, very loud. Welcome back, everybody, to the Orion Podcast. We're glad to have you. Episode 23. Legendary episode number 23. It's an odd number. It's an odd number. Not only do we have a major announcement tonight, but we've got a grand major announcement tonight.
It's a good one.
It's a good one. We got a good one coming for you. We've got a buddy of ours that's been on the podcast before. Episode 1 coming back to you 22 episodes later.
Our first reoccurring guest.
True. This is true. We have called Jameson during an episode. Does that count?
No, he wasn't here.
He wasn't here. So technically, this is our first reoccurring guest that we're going to catch up with. There's going to be a lot of reoccurring guests as this thing goes on because, sometimes we need help. And sometimes we drop the ball on getting a guest like your last show that you had to suffer through. Listening to us talk about absolutely nothing. And that was going to be the case tonight. But this guy stepped in.
Between us dropping the ball and scheduling conflicts, and sometimes things come up. Folks have
the holidays.
So yeah,
we won't blame it on the holidays. We're going to blame it on the holidays. I mean, then the bad part is we have nothing to really talk about in this intro because you've been sick. I've been wrapping up school
for 2 weeks straight.
Yeah. So the good news is you feel better and I've gadgeated. So there's that. That's about as much as we've got right now for you guys. No festive hunting talk. None of this other stuff tonight. I guess we ought to
unfortunately not. I got my dough processed while I was under the weather and could barely stand for more than an hour and a half at a time. So it took me a few days, but she's vac sealed and in the freezer. So the biggest thing is when we come home for Christmas, I need to try and plug at least one more, if not two. So
yeah, we got to get some pictures done too. We got to get some actual work done when you're home again.
Yeah, so I know it.
The Orion coolers are dry.
They are. I actually got all the coolers out of the garage tonight and washed them. They were the junk coolers that I had her in for aging the meat were getting a little ripe. So today was winterizing day. Yeah, we had a warm 36 degrees today, so I was able to get out and play in the water a little bit.
There you go.
Things cleaned
balmy 36. Yeah. Over Christmas, it sounds like you're going to have a little bit of a cold shock though coming into town. Extended forecast ain't looking real good, so bring your hand warmers.
Yeah, I got the electric hand warmer charged up. I need to get one of those muffs and stick both hands in there and drop a couple hot hands in there. And keep
and Panther Vision. If you're watching, sign us up. We need some of them.
Yeah.
Without further ado, though, let's bring in this recurring special guest, straight out of episode number 1, coming to you again in episode number 23. Jason Cassetty. I threw the button, so it's gone.
There it is.
There you go. There you go. He's got it down.
Who needs a button? We'll just have him. We'll just do a sound bite.
Is that a Christmas mug?
No, this is a mug my kids got me back in the day.
Okay.
Yeah, you know.
It looked like Christmas trees.
Yeah.
Nice.
Drinking the black coffee tonight. We're in the middle of our fasting deal, so
Oh boy.
Let's talk about that.
I've been there, tried that, and I was not a fan. I get too hangry.
You wouldn't want to be around Zach when he didn't have a Quest bar.
Yeah.
It's no
Quest bar, man.
You're 21 days though. You're going 21 days into fast, right?
That'll be in January. We do that. Our church does a 21-day fast each year. Typically starts about the first week of January into the second week, and we'll go 21 days. Some people will do a social media fast, which, I highly recommend if anybody.
I could get down with that one.
Get off the social media for 21 days. It's very refreshing. Some people just do a Daniel fast, which is like fruits and veggies only. But I've done the water only fast for 21 days. And that was something. But I think this year we're going to do just some fruit smoothies, veggie smoothies, stuff like that. But no food, no solid food for 21 days.
I'd be ready to fight somebody after hour number 4.
You would.
I tell you what, the first 3 days, it's horrible. I mean, it is bad. You're angry. I mean, I was telling Nicole, sometimes it feels like your body is eating your brain.
Oh, yeah.
But then you get into that, I don't know if it's the ketosis or whatever it is.
Yeah,
but,
starts eating all that fatty tissue.
And you get massive energy, and, those first few days in the gym are really bad. But the next couple of weeks, I mean, you're just you just feel like BA, you just go and you've got all this energy and it's good. But then the last few days you start to daydream. There's food porn comes into your head. I binge watch these eating challenge shows and stuff on YouTube.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It gets bad, man.
Yeah, I don't see myself trying that one.
just coming off watching the Limitless on Disney Plus with Chris Hemsworth. There's a portion in that where he does the fast, and they really get into it and kind of start talking about some of the reasons and the whys. And it was a very good episode. It was actually incredible as far as the learning experience as to the benefits of fasting, and I still ain't down.
Yeah, there's been a lot of it shown, a 48 to 72 hour fast once every month or every couple of months. There's been a lot of health benefits shown to that. I don't know.
Yeah,
it is. I will say it's easier for me on days like when we were home in September, we were out running cameras and putting out mineral and stuff like that. I mean, if I wake up, don't eat breakfast, and we go out and we're doing that, I may not eat until supper if I got my mind busy. But if I'm just here, cabin fever, sitting around the house, boy, I tell you what, there ain't nothing in the pantry safe.
It is. I mean, you can spend a whole day on water and not touch. You won't drink, you won't eat, and that's terrible for you.
Oh yeah.
That's absolutely terrible for you. And you always get off the water and you're like,
yeah. If I'm sitting in a tree stand though, I'll eat every snack in my backpack by noon. I guarantee it.
M&M's, boys. M&M's brings the
I haven't had any M&M's in a while, but Pop-Tarts are tree stand tradition.
Pop-Tarts.
Hey, if you want to eat healthy, actually, I Dustin Nichols the other day on the phone, and we both at the same time we were talking about Legendary Foods. It's a food company, and they make a protein pastry, like a protein Pop-Tart. Oh, God.
Might have to look into that one.
They're good.
They get in your feels real good.
Yeah,
I mean they're super tasty.
Take you back to being 7 years old again.
I had the red velvet one. and
Woo.
10, freaking 10.
Oh, they're fire.
It
I have
is
to check
10.
that out.
I think
Despite all my sugary food cravings, I do keep it pretty clean most 90% of the time. But,
Yeah, I hear you dabble in the ice cream every once in a while. So,
he does. He likes his ice cream, but he works hard. So
yeah.
you gotta give him that.
It looks obvious. I mean, obviously, them ice cream scoops are going straight to them guns. You know what I mean?
I wish that were the case. I'd eat more of them.
Jeremy Baker. So you can buy those protein Pop-Tarts at a GNC store. Actually, most GNC stores actually carry those. They're really good. They are a great on-the-water breakfast.
Yep.
Indianapolis
has them, and you can go to alphafitness.com and get them online.
Nice.
You save a couple bucks.
Big news. Pop-Tarts are good. Absolutely. They're fantastic. Thanks for watching, guys. We're going to get to the news. Everybody just calm down. Everybody calm down. Getting there. We're getting there. We ain't even made it to the intro yet. Everybody's talking about Pop-Tarts in the comments now.
Everybody's snacking.
Look at what
everybody's got the late night munchies up at the late hours.
Orion Podcast, drinking beers, eating Pop-Tarts.
Yeah.
Sounds like a plan. Sounds like a birthday party.
So,
man, you had a decent season since we talked to you last. You had some major conquests you were taking on for it. So let's start this podcast again with how did it all go, man? I mean, you sold it all. You got in the camper. You lived on the road all summer long. I mean, you lived the grind. So fill us in. How'd it go?
Well,
highs and lows.
It went good. I mean, the highs, I get to spend, pretty much every day, every minute with my best friend, Nicole, and our dogs. And that's definitely one of the big benefits of it. When you've got a life partner that supports you the way she does, it makes this whole process possible. I mean, if she didn't do that, then this wouldn't work. A lot of you guys out there know that grind. If, you're coming up with different ways or reasons to try to get out there, go hunt, go fish. I mean, there's sometimes, and I think I said it before, she will literally push me out the door and like, go get some content, go do something. So she pushes me a lot. And, that makes fishing easy. It's not as stressful, which that mindset on the water is probably one of the best things you can take in your tackle bag. Is that not just confidence, but support. But as far as like a low, I fished the TOC or the Bass Open Series, and I was the first man out of the TOC, and that really just stunk, dude. I was so waiting on somebody else to drop out. I never wish COVID on anybody, but I was like, I was going to get that 1.9, and it may have been a few dollars down to Lake Caddo to, infiltrate and try to get some people sick. I tried
out a hit.
Yeah, it didn't work. You know what I mean? I reached out to a couple guys on the Jackson team and like, if you see somebody out on the water, give them a hug, make them sick, do something. But we finished 43rd, I think, overall in the AOY out of, I think AJ said they had like 1,160 anglers show out for that tournament series over the years. So, I mean, that's awesome to see the growth in the sport at a national level like that. It's pretty cool.
So overall, how many events did you wind up with in 2022?
I think we ended up right about
turkey bow don't count. People practiced.
Oh well, yeah. We just showed up and boat up, But I think I had 15 national. Well, I guess I fished the KFL too. Somewhere between 17 and 20 total.
That's not bad, man. That's
not
bad.
It's a busy year for sure.
Yeah, and most. I mean, it wasn't in Indiana. The KFL did like an all-star event, And one of the stipulations was you had to fish your home bodies of water. And I hadn't fished in Indiana. So we were out there, and Nicole was going to launch with me to take some photos and videos and whatnot. And I'm like, oh, crap. She's like, what? And this is like in August, I think. And I was like, hold on. And I'm on my phone. She's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm getting a license for Indiana. I had 20 licenses across the country, and Indiana, where I live, was not one of them. So
you used it
had to
twice.
get real quick. But yeah, I'm like, oh yeah, I don't fish here. So
and they probably checked that license about 2 minutes after you bought it and rolled around the bend there too. They like to roll up and do that.
That would absolutely be my luck. And yeah, it's I don't have a problem buying licenses. It's just sometimes I forget. And if I'm in my home state, I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah, that's easy enough to do. You're just so used to jumping in the truck and going. I mean, it's very easy.
Yeah, and before we leave, we map out a tournament year. Like if we're going to be like Tennessee, Alabama, Louisiana, Texas, oftentimes those states will just buy a year license because it's cheaper to buy an out-of-state year license than it is $20 here, and then you got to come back in a month and a half and spend another $30 or 20, and they just add up. So yeah, we try to plan it out so A, we don't forget, and B, it saves us a few dollars when we're out on the road.
For sure.
Now you've got you're switching gears a little bit this coming year, kind of away from the BOS and going a different route with Bass Nation.
Yeah.
Per our conversation, kind of give us a little bit of the why.
Well, the biggest why is time. The BOS is a great series, but there's also 9 events, and I try to, give myself the best opportunity to do well. So I want to fish as many as I can so I can drop off. I can have tournaments that, you can call out. And with the bass, it's a five tournament season. I think they're going to do their best 3. So that gives me a little more freedom as far as time to get out and do, some content stuff, some stuff we're going to talk about after a bit, and still give me that big platform. One of the coolest articles I've seen in kayak fishing this year was when Drew won the AOI for the Bass Nation Kayak Series. And the article had Brandon Polinick, Keith Boucher, Drew Gregory. And anytime a kayak angler can be one of, 33.3% of that article with those names, I mean, that speaks volumes for us as a young entity going into the big boy column. I mean, that's huge. I would love to be able to play and fight for that kind of article positioning. That would be fantastic.
Absolutely.
So yeah, big return on investment, I think, with Bass. Steve Owens, which I know you've probably met him down there in Tennessee, Chad. He does a bang-up job. He's going to be running that series for Bassmaster. So I expect huge things to come from them as far as the clarity, organization, their overall running of it. They've got a kayak guy in there now, so I fully expect it to really take off.
Yeah, I think it's going to do good when they get these events up so everybody can see them and everybody can kind of start planning. I think that's going to go a long way on what they have to offer the different anglers. So on expenses and different things, you feel like this year was hit about where you figured it would?
Almost. We did a pretty good job figuring most things out. Gas, we didn't fully expect the gas prices to go through like crazy. I mean, I literally think, I have to double check our log book, but at the beginning of the year when we left and went down to Louisiana for the first event on Toledo Bend, and I think we were in maybe the high 2s, low 3s for gas, and then it shot up to almost $5. And when you're pulling that RV with that GMC, it's like, man, that my gas went from like 18 miles down to sub 10, and it's like, oh Lord, this is getting bad. And that hit us pretty hard, but I think we did pretty good as far as, budgeting our food, budgeting lodging and whatnot. So I think we did pretty good there, with the exception of maybe gas and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Well, and that one's just kind of out of your control. I mean, with what the prices did this summer, it made it rough on a lot of guys that were out traveling and spending some time behind the windshield.
Yeah, and that I think that had a big, really for all the tournaments, as far as fishing, being able to stay in a local region or something like that became a really nice asset if you could, because everybody wants to fish and be competitive in an in-person environment, and maybe look for something bigger to go after as an end result of that. But to be able to go from Oklahoma to New York or Maine, which we got to do, that was beautiful, all the way down to Florida and everywhere in between, and that really adds up a lot. And if you're a 9-to-5 kind of person, even if you had the vacation time, just the gas cost and lodging cost, each one of these tournaments, you're probably looking $1,000 or better.
Oh yeah, easy.
Yeah.
Now, with that being said, I know we have some news.
Yeah.
And
the music's back.
The music's back for this. Major announcement. Number one. We've been talking about 2023 and the big things to come for 2023. I'm going to say it for you, okay? And we're going to elaborate on it. As of yesterday, you're now officially a member of the Jackson Kayak Fishing Team. Major announcement number one. There's more. There's more. Nobody freak out. That's not it. It's not it. Major announcement number one. You are officially part of the Jackson Kayak Fishing Team. How's that feel, man?
Congrats, sir.
I appreciate that. It feels awesome. To be able to help represent such an awesome brand. Jackson is probably one of the funnest groups of just cool people I've ever hung out with, even when I wasn't a part of the team. Just Chad, Josh Stewart, and Adam Patrone, and Lance, and Dustin. I mean, there's just all these people out there that are just like, what the heck? I mean, they're just cool people to hang out with. They're always having a good time. And the quality of product that you get to sit in each and every day is just like second to none, in my opinion. They have good boats. And if there ever is an issue with a boat, which they're man-made, so they're going to have a problem, the warranty department over there at Jackson is fire. You don't have anything to worry about. And when I'm out on the water, if I screw up, I want it to be on me. And I don't have to worry about the equipment I use day in and day out. I know they got my back. And that helps to go on with fishing confidently and knowing you got the support, much like my better half at the RV. I've got, Sparta, Tennessee got my back too. So I love representing that brand. I like to work with brands that I enjoy, I like, I use. I don't like to work with anybody that, just says, here, do this, and here's $5 and put a sticker on your boat. And I'm like, yeah, I'm pro staff. I don't want to do that. I only want to work with companies that I truly believe in, and that JK brand is definitely that. They're as solid as it gets. So I am super excited to have the biggest piece in my fishing equipment be a Jackson and to be on their team.
Very cool. And you've done a lot of good work this past year. The Afloat event with the kids that you did in part with some stuff from Orion coolers and whatnot. That went well. What do you guys have in store for Afloat in 2023?
We're definitely going to do, more of the youth fishing events. Those are they're easy for me because I'm really into fishing. So, and we like getting the youth involved. For the folks that are new to me, Afloat is a family life outdoors, achieves togetherness. and we just get kids off their phones and electronics, unplug and reconnect. Some of my best memories as a kid, and you guys too can, go with this. It like when you used to go hiking in the woods or that first trip on your bike to a creek. I mean, we didn't have cell phones, and that's something we live for. On Saturday morning, man, I was up before dark. I had, a piece of bread and a Zebco 33 combo, and I was hitting it. And I love those memories. And the kids just don't get that these days. So we try to get families to get their kids involved in the outdoors, off the electronics. If you want to go in and watch a Lynn Dollar episode on YouTube and check out some old Bassmaster stuff, that's cool. But keep it to a limit. Teach the kids the outdoors. Show them a good time. Put the phones down. So we're going to do a lot of those events. We got a good relationship with Rogue Disc. Zach, you were mentioning about keeping them hands warm. If you go to roguedisc.com, they've got this rechargeable hand mitt.
Yeah, the muff, yeah.
Oh, man, you stick them bad boys in there, 1 minute on each side, whatever. Yeah, you got Pop-Tarts warm on both sides. It's awesome. But
keep Pop-Tarts warm.
Keep your hands warm and toast your Pop-Tarts at the same time.
There you go.
I smell a marketing video.
That's the second big announcement. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Yep, show's over.
Show's over. Oh man.
Keyword toasty. Get your toasties. But yeah, it's we're gonna do some disc golf stuff, but just because it's a fun thing for the kids to do, that you can pop those up. Those disc golf courses are everywhere, but we want to get the youth involved in fishing. Start getting these kids into boats and really help take that youth movement that I think we're kind of missing in the kayak space these days, at least around here. Everybody wants to get in a big boat, but you look at the barrier to entry for them big boats, man,
it's steep.
That kayak space is ripe, and I'd love to see more kids like Jackson, the Jackson Oars of the day. Man, they're few and far between, it seems like, anymore. So
hey, James,
come back.
Mr. James McBee.
James. Salute. Cheers, my friend.
No, it's great. I mean, it's like you said, low barrier to entry, ton of fun could be had in a plastic boat. I know, that was a big move for us. Kind of ties back into the announcement here tonight, but it's one of the reasons. Yeah, that's what you keep saying anyway. Okay. But that's one of the things that got us into the kayaks and being closer to the water, getting into the skinny waters and the back creeks, and just taking the adventure to back into places that not a lot of people get to go.
Yep, and it's full. You're fully dialed in at the kayak level. Even if you get a motor, I mean, you're one with the boat. You're one with nature. It's just a whole different experience, and I can't wait to get kids involved in that and get them hooked on something other than their electronics, because it's literally running away with our lives. So let's try to keep them on the water.
But you should stay and listen to the Orion podcast, all you kids out there.
Yeah, it's a catch-22.
It's a catch-22. Catch a bass.
Yeah,
22 inches long.
Yeah, the Orion podcast is like a pint of beer. You know what I mean? It's good in moderation.
It gets flat when you leave it open too long. So 29 minutes and 13 seconds in. I said I was going to wait till we eclipsed the 30-minute mark before we really, really went in on this whole thing. But kind of talk about the Grand Major announcement, I guess.
Yeah.
We at Jackson Kayak have partnered with USA Bassin to bring what we are proud to call the Jackson Kayak Fishing Trail in 2023, which is going to be hopefully sweeping the nation, maybe. we'll see. It's a little bit different format. And as the national tournament director, USA Bassin has brought on Mr. Jason Cassetty to lead the charge and kind of spearhead this and get it going. All of us at Jackson Kayak are proud of Jason and this endeavor that he's taken on. And that's why all of us are full in to see this thing go off. And with that being said, Jason, I'm going to kind of let you tell us a little bit about what USA Bassin is, and then we'll just kind of go from there.
Yeah. Well, and again, I appreciate the opportunity and the platform to, speak on this. And USA Bassin, for those that don't know or aren't familiar with it, is a very large team fishing trail from, based right here in Indiana, right down the street from you, Chad. But they've got about 7,000 members. So it's not a small deal. You know what I mean? It covers a pretty big swath of the country. And for the most part, it's a team bass boat division or, tournament series. Each state has several divisions. I think Indiana had like 50 some divisions last time I looked. It's crazy. But they see the kayak space as an opportunity. And we see a niche that needs filled in several areas. What we're looking for is a grassroots, in-person, live, face-to-face, the camaraderie that everybody talks about all the time, without having to go, north part of the state, south part of the state. Each one of these divisions is, one lake, or it could be a couple of lakes, but in close proximity. So it cuts down on your travel costs. Low barrier to entry. We're talking about like $60 tournament entry fees. There's a membership fee involved, which we'll get to that in just a second, just like most, clubs or trails. But you fish a 5 tournament division right there in your backyard if it be close to you, and that will qualify you if you get 250 points to fish a national championship. At a premium body of water somewhere located in the central United States. It's a little bit different in the fact that, we don't do any of the online stuff. And we just want to try to keep it as simple and fun, lighthearted as possible. There's going to be some great prizes. Obviously Jackson Kayak has stepped up to be a top sponsor, Orion Coolers. We've got tournament divisions popping up. We've got 2 in Missouri. We've got some working down in Texas, Tennessee, Kentucky, Alabama. Those last 3 were just today because we just announced this thing to a couple people a couple days ago. So it's very fresh. So we're growing fast. It's not as limited by, state like Indiana has 1. No, Indiana can have 20. So if you've got a body of water, let's say Patoka Lake, and you want to have five tournaments on Patoka Lake, you can make a division on Patoka Lake. There's going to be one on Lake Monroe in Indiana. Same thing down in Texas, Tennessee, anywhere. The more the merrier. It's get more people involved. That just, raises the stakes a little bit more at the championship level. It gets people involved in the game. We're going to work really hard to introduce children or young kids into the kayak fishing deal, because it is our sport. You know what I mean? It's the future of our sport. And eventually us old guys sitting here blabbing on the Orion podcast, we're going to expire. You know what I mean? So if we don't have the Ewing miners and the Jackson oars and the kids really coming up and fertilizing this game, it could dry up pretty quick, and we don't want to see that happen. So we're going to try to get the high schools involved and really see where there's no limit where this thing can go. There's a niche in some states. Some states it'll work great. Some states, it's very saturated. But like here in Indiana, we've got a state trail, but it runs, north to south. And then we've got like an online type of trail. But if you listen to people talk at like the KBFNC or the TOC or the Bass Classic Championship, the number one thing that every one of those guys talk about, even the ones that fish the online challenges, is the camaraderie and the brotherhood, sisterhood, the friendships that get made at these championships where they get to hang out with people. That's the number one thing that they enjoyed about the event. It wasn't catching fish. It wasn't trying to catch a check. It was hanging out at the boat ramp, having a beer and a slice of pie with some buddies after a good practice day, all that good stuff. And that's what this trail is going to be all about. It's going to be after you knock heads with each other and try to beat the guy next to you. You're going to meet up at the boat ramp or the tackle shop or the restaurant, shake hands, talk a little smack, and take home a few bucks.
For any of you guys that got questions, keep dropping them in the comments as we kind of round out some of this conversation and talk a little bit more about what this is. We will come back and answer some of those questions for you guys as we keep going on. But most importantly, Joe Gentry says you had him at pie.
You had me at me too. My ears perked up when you said pie.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of food conversation getting dropped in.
Pop-Tarts and pies. I think he was talking about pizza, but Joe was thinking about apple pie, cherry pie.
I'm good. I'm good either way.
Either way.
I'll emote for Mr. Zach. I know he's going to have a big old scoop of vanilla bean on that. So
best believe it.
But yeah, so let's we can break it down a little bit. So basically, each division is going to be 5 tournaments, and the point structure for AOI is going to be each tournament division is going to have its own little AOI. So you win that derby, it's going to be 100 points, and we'll work on the point decrement, how whether it's 1, 2, or 5, however it goes down. But 100 points for first, and then on down, and you'll get 50 points for showing up and paying your entry. Now, if you get 250 points by the end of the year, and if you fish all 5 of your tournaments in your division, that's quick math, that's 250 points. That'll qualify you for the Jackson Classic to be held later. And you can fish any number of divisions you want. I know that happens a lot on the boat side of USA Bassin. If like Missouri, we've got 2 divisions there already that are relatively, close proximity to each other. So the way he's going to have it set up there, I mean, you could literally, do one weekend, one the other weekend. So you could fish both of them. And as soon as you get to that 250 points combined or in one division, you qualify for the championship and a right to go after, a pretty good payday that we've got worked out, guaranteed already for first place for that. And I don't know how much we can get into that, but I think that's official on our end as far as what is offered. So
if you've got that part of the paperwork official, let it sing.
Yeah. So, guaranteed. And we haven't had one angler sign up yet, to be transparent, obviously, because we haven't had any derbs yet, but we're going to give away $5,000 cash for first place. And that's an and with an A&D, a brand new Jackson NAR kayak. So, I mean, you're getting close to that $10,000 first place prize package for a first year deal. I think is pretty awesome.
Absolutely.
And, just get a little carrot, and it's going to be at a premier fishing destination sorry, my dog's whining. It's going to be at a premier fishing destination. So you can fish literally your home waters right there close to home, hang out with your buddies, learn competition, learn tournament etiquette. You can learn or if you're an experienced guy and you think you can go in there and jackpot it, go in there and jackpot it. But then you can qualify for a championship to where, there's some pretty good money on the line. You get to hang out, see an awesome piece of water that maybe you've only watched on TV before if you're newer to the game, and still have very, very little gas and expenses in it. So it should be a fun opportunity for folks that want a little something different.
Yeah, and I think so obviously Jackson Kayak is coming in at the top tier level of the Jackson Kayak Trail for USA Bassin. Orion Coolers is also we're stepping in with Orion Coolers as well. On the big boat side of things, we're actually going to be donating some coolers to give away at the Bass Cat Classic, which is the big boat classic. Those coolers will be raffled off. And talking about youth, those coolers proceeds for the raffles will go towards USA Bass's Next Generation Scholarship Program, which is something that we're very passionate about at Jackson Kayak as well, and Orion Coolers, as far as getting kids involved. And these kids fish this USA Basin Next Generation Classic. They have this opportunity to win a scholarship through USA Basin to help further their education further in life. So that is kind of where Orion Coolers is stepping in on that side of it to to help support the trail as a whole. It's not just we're diving into kayaks big. We're all in as far as trying to promote youth angling in the sport and being part of the big boats as well. So it's going to be very cool as far as that outreach is concerned. Also being donational and for the children's.
Do for the kids.
For the kids.
Yeah.
Now, as far as a division goes, what's a division like when you say Patoka Lake? I mean, so I am going to be one of the directors here in Indiana. I'm going to do a division at Lake Monroe. So to kind of explain to you guys what that is basically, I use the word pods rather than divisions. We're going to set a pod of 5 tournaments at Lake Monroe. Those 5 tournaments are their own series. It will have its own AOY that comes out of that 5 tournament series. It's basically your local club. It just all happens to be on one lake. Those anglers that accrue the 250 points out of that division can go on to the classic. Now, what Jason was saying was, so Patoka Lake and Lake Monroe are 50 minutes apart in Indiana, which you may have the same in your area too. So you may have a pod at Patoka Lake and you may have a pod of tournaments at Monroe Lake, 5 each, total of 10. The angler is not limited to saying, okay, well, I'm just fishing Lake Monroe. He can go, that angler, he or she can go to Patoka Lake the very next weekend, just like what Jason was saying out in Missouri, and they can fish those 5 tournaments as well and accrue, instead of 500 points, if they win them all, it'd be 1,000 points. That 1,000 points goes towards a national AOY. So that's where you kind of get into a national AOY leader. So the more tournaments you fish, the higher that points total graduates. You won't see those points at your pod level like at Monroe or Patoka. Those are only worth 5, but your accumulative points, being 1,000, would go towards the national AOY. So the more pods you fish or divisions, the better your chances are for the national tournament trail AOY.
Yeah. And as this deal grows and gets more widespread, like it has on the big boat side of things, there will be added bonuses to being that national angler of the year, if you will. And I think they have, what is that, a
free entry into the classics?
Tournament. They have a tournament of champions on the big boat side, I believe, which is people that accumulate crazy high number of stuff or win a division or something like that. So the building blocks are all there, and we can literally plug and play the kayak in as we go and as we grow and get a little bit bigger in the space. So a lot of really cool things. It's a super fun organization. If anyone watching this podcast has ever fished one, they're really fun. I used to fish them, when I first got into tournament fishing. It was either a BFL or I was fishing, one of these USA Bass and team tournaments with a brother-in-law, and they were super fun. So, great organization. got a lot of support, which is really important for a tournament trail to have that kind of backing, not just insurance and whatnot, but, having some, financial dollars and relations with these tourism bureaus and whatnot, so they can help grow the trail right out the gate, So that's what we're working with. That organization, Kevin Urey, he's done a bang up job for, quite a while. That organization, it's not brand new. They've been around
They've been around for a really long time. And like you said, they have done a lot of good work, and the championships have continuously gotten better as the organization has grown. I fished on the big boat side actually the last 2 years. Last year, our classic Bass Cat Classic was at Lake Chickamauga, and man, it was a great event. It was run flawlessly right there in the heart of Dayton, Tennessee, and it was very accommodating how everything went. And when Kevin approached everybody about, where do I start with the kayak trail? I'd really like to be involved. I see a need, and from what I hear, there's a need. And he was listening and taking advice on his site. We plugged in Jason, and I think we've got some good things going for the kayak fishing, from what I hear.
Yeah, fishing nationally for the past couple of years has allowed me to experience a lot of, goods and bads in the kayak fishing space. There's a lot of people out there that do a lot of things right, and there's a lot that do a lot of things wrong. And obviously, we're human; we're never going to get it perfect. But I'd like to take my experience from all the good stuff and put that up here and filter out all the bad stuff, and hopefully at the end the product is as solid as we can get. AJ and Steve, for example, they just do a bang up job running derbies across the country, and we'd like to kind of follow that and see that success go for USA Bassin as well. We're going to be using Tourney X. I got a lot of questions on that today. that was a no-brainer. We're using Tourney X. Dwayne Wally, he has a phenomenal product. I talked with him the other day and just started getting everything set up, and things are looking pretty good.
Jason will tell you very strongly after our last event at this so-called Turkey Bowl, where people practiced for a charity event. They used Fishing Chaos, and that was actually my first time using Fishing Chaos, and I was ready to throw it in the trash after about one go. No offense to anybody. I know it's just starting out, and it'll probably get better as it goes, but for me, at the end of the day, Tourney X is bar none. It's well above the rest as far as what it's able to do. So we'll definitely be doing Tourney X.
Yep. And, business as usual as far as the kayak side. We'll be setting up everything through PayPal, except for the memberships. The memberships, folks can go to usabassin.com and get their membership, which brings me to special announcement number 3.
I threw the button. It did work.
So for memberships, sorry, that's Bella. She wants to say
that's all right. Dogs are welcome on the Orion podcast. We sell kennels.
We're puppy friendly.
If you get a kennel for this one right here, you're doing pretty good. That's a big old kennel. Go on, baby. Look, Mama's hollering for you. There she goes. But so memberships, it's $30 a year for a membership. And that membership will allow you to, fish any pod or division, accumulate points, and for AOI and qualify for the championship. If you're a first-time USA Bassin tournament angler or haven't fished a USA Bassin tournament in the past 3 years, no charge, no membership fee for your first year. So a great majority of you, except for that guy, Chad.
All 3 of us.
Yeah.
All 3 of us. We're out.
We have a bit of history with
we've fished USA Bassin before.
So if you haven't fished in the past 3 years, which will probably be a good majority of the kayak guys, that membership fee is waived. So you can go to usabassin.com and fill it out, and they'll send you a membership card and everything, and get you all set up. So the barrier to entry just got a lot lower for our type of trail real quick. So
Yeah, and I
don't
think
worry about that.
yeah,
And that sucks. Nobody wants to pay a membership. If I hate paying a KBF membership, that sucks. I just found out I had that Fishing Chaos app, the other app. I just found out recently that I had it's like $4 a month or something that comes out of my checking account every month for that. I'm like, oh, what the hell?
Yeah,
no one likes membership fees, but
that's a huge thing for USA Bassin to do for number one, the first year in existence of a trail like this is to go all out and say, hey, look, you've never fished with us before. We know that. We want to do you this solid. Come fish with us. Free membership. Come fish our tournaments. We'll give you a membership your first year. And come let us help you build that trust with our organization.
Yeah. Try it before you buy it.
Yeah, try it before you buy it.
Exactly. And they're putting a lot on the line by doing that, because those membership fees that's what pays the bills,
for housekeeping stuff for sure.
Yeah. All that behind the scenes stuff. That is what pays the bills, because ultimately a majority of your tournament income comes right back out to the anglers. So, foregoing that membership fee, that really helps out, because they know it's going to, we know it's really going to help grow the brand of USA Bassin kayak fishing. And it's a big deal that they went ahead and said, let's do that. And
that's huge.
All. Yeah. Big time.
That's a huge deal. As far as Jackson Kayak goes, the other big thing that we're looking at is our dealer involvement, which is one of the things that we're kind of holding near and dear to our hearts. We're gonna, at the Classic, where the Classic could be, we're waiting to hear back. Solid information. It could be at Kentucky Lake, which a lot of you tournament anglers have been there before. Our goal is to have our Jackson Kayak dealer sitting right there at the boat ramp, and we'll have Jackson Kayaks for any onlookers to come out and try. We'll be working with, any dealers that want to do demos at some of these different areas to come out and show off their boats. Hopefully it's a win-win for the anglers, the dealers, USA Bassin, Jackson Kayak, Orion Coolers. It's going to be a working relationship where, like Jason said, very grassroots. We don't want to bust the barrier to entry with this. And that's why our entry fee is actually a little bit lower at these divisional tournaments. Now the Classic will be a little bit more expensive. But these divisional tournaments will be a big deal. It's where, we'll have Jackson Kayak team members hopefully fishing these events. We'll have, hopefully dealers helping with these events and different things as far as prizes, just involvement in general. And, it can be a good time and build a solid community. But going back to the no membership fee for your first year, this is 100%. We want to build that trust and build that relationship. And huge thank you to USA Bassin for that, and obviously to Jackson Kayak for what they're doing in that part of it. I think it's gonna be nice.
Oh yeah, it should be a lot of fun, Chad. We're looking forward to it, and Nicole and I are going to try to get out to as many of these different pods, if you will,
divisions, derbies.
Yeah, we would love to get down to Texas, Missouri, and Tennessee, Kentucky, and wherever this deal goes, Alabama. And we've got a new Tennessee trailer on the way, and we'll have a few Jackson Kayaks. We're always willing to put somebody in a boat and let them go take it for a spin. Getting yourself in a seat, that's the best way to experience it. You know what I mean? So, get signed up for these tournaments. Look out for real soon for more information, the exact rules and everything. It's going to be pretty standard. Nothing crazy to expect. We're not going to do every fish counts. It's going to be your 5 best fish. Pretty standard stuff. So don't expect anything crazy to come out about rules that you haven't ever heard of or expected before. We're just going to, like they say, cut the gray out as much as possible, make it fun and make it fair. And it's going to be good times.
Let me ask you, Jeremy Baker just offered his driveway for you to park your RV in, but he also had a question about breaking down the bigger states into more divisions, and what does it look like if a guy says, hey, there's not a division on my home lake, I want to go get a hold of USA Bass and start a division right here?
Yeah, so like Chad was saying, each lake is essentially its own division, so don't look at it by the state. Now, if we get a little bit bigger, what they do on the boat side is they ultimately have, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, they'll have regionals.
Regional qualifier.
Right now, I mean, we're not that big yet. So you can don't look at it as Texas. I mean, you just look at Lake Fork or Amistad or,
Right.
Possum Kingdom, whatever it may be. And that is its own little division. That's its own pod. That's its own little series, if you will. It's just part of a bigger national brand. A lot of people are familiar with like the Tennessee Bass Nation, for example, where that's Tennessee. But if you get technical, I mean, I guess it could just be East Tennessee, since
it could just be Dale Hollow.
Yeah, it could be.
Could be just Chickamauga.
They're used to something like that, but
yeah. The idea behind USA Bass, and I think to kind of maybe word this, is it's kind of geared for the working man. It's that guy that works all week. He's he can't really travel. His vacation days are limited to 2 weeks a year, and he's got to take the family on vacation this, and then he's got doctor's appointments and everything. And before you know it, he's burned up his 2 weeks of vacation. So with that being said, these tournaments allow you to fish Lake Monroe 20 minutes from my house. So I can go fish Lake Monroe, fish all 5 tournaments, and I can qualify for the Jackson Kayak Classic. Well, the Jackson Kayak Classic is that one big event that I get to go fish every year. So I'm going to go fish that big event, and that's my classic. But I qualify for it here in my home state. So I don't have to do a whole bunch of traveling all over the nation and the different things like that. So that's kind of what USA Bassin is about. And when we say grassroots, because we really keep it inside the state. If you want it to be, you can travel all you want. Don't get me wrong. But we keep it inside the state so you can work your way up to that bigger event. Yep. Then like Jason was saying, as this thing grows, so say we have like the big boat side in Indiana has 50 different divisions right now, so to speak. I don't know if it's 50 or not. But close. Anyway, it's close.
It's got to be up there, yeah.
But at the end of the season, come August, for the big boat side, everybody that has that 250 points, we have X number of regional events in the state of Indiana. So we have one down south, we have one in the center of the state, and then we have kind of one up north. And then there's a few in Kentucky. You fish those regional events, and then once it gets to that level, it's the top 10% out of each regional moves on to the classic. So once this thing grows to that magnitude to where, it swells up.
You got to put a limit on the
You have to put a limit on
classic at that point. Yeah.
Yeah. So the classic will never be bigger than X number of anglers. Right. It'll always try to stay the same. In the first year, it's a little bit the Wild West. Unless a state would get too big too quick, then you would have to implement probably a regional event to have a cut line to cipher it down. And it might, first year it might be 20%, but as this thing grows, it'll get down to that 10% window that you'll have to qualify through a regional to make it to the classic.
Yeah, I mean it's literally your grassroots weekend warrior tournament trail. I mean, back when we were fishing the big boat side, I mean we knew of guys who would fish Boggs, Monroe, they might fish the White River, Ohio River, and Patoka. They might fish every one of those divisions.
Yeah,
they had points in all of them.
And you'll be able to do that in the kayak series too. I mean, you can, if there's enough divisions in your state, whether it's Kentucky, Indiana, Tennessee, Illinois, I mean, you can fish every division you want to fish as long as your wife ain't mad at you.
Yep.
That's on you. That's on you.
Or even if she is mad at you, maybe
even
you
if she
wanna go
is
fish
mad at you,
instead.
you can go fishing. But I mean, you're not limited to how much you can fish. As far as once this thing grows and gets as big as it goes, that national title can really mean something. But you're going to fight for that national title, AOY, within your state if you want to.
Yeah, it's a good way to dip your toes in the water, if you will. I like the working man series. It's something you don't have showing up 3-4 days a week in advance to pre-fish. If you don't have time to devote to that, these are bodies of water you can fish the weekend before, if you're unfamiliar with it. But a lot of these guys, it's intended just to kind of show up and bow up. It's right there in your backyard. And if you want to get a little taste of that national stuff, go into bodies of water you've never fished. Hopefully we'll have a division close to you to where you can go fish a body of water you never fished against some local hammers that know it like the back of their hand, and see if you can compete on a body of water you've never fished. And that helps size you up for that, national stuff. A lot of the guys that think they might be able to go and fish nationally, it's a good way to dip your toes in the water, if you will.
Yeah, and then going to the classic event at the same time gets you that real national flavor taste, because you've just spent the whole year fishing with your buddies in the local derb, the local division, and you've graduated, you've made it, you're going to the classic, you and all your buddies roll into Chickamauga, and you're there. If Jason lives in Florida and I live in Indiana, you're competing with people out of your zone. I mean, you're going to compete with people in Tennessee, all over the United States. So it's a really neat format in that prospect. Like I said, it's kind of geared towards that working man.
I like it. I like it a lot. Where can I sign up? Let's go.
There you go. So,
I'm ready to go fishing, man.
Well, Jeremy just signed up for the USA Bass, and so he's already got his membership. But
let's scroll back up here. I know we had some questions. Is this? Let's see. Oh, we're back in the Pop-Tart comments. Is this the same people that did the Pan Am deal?
No, it's
far away from it.
Yeah, USA is USA, but no, it's definitely not the Pan American Games or anything like that. No, this is definitely not that.
Okay, let's see. Okay, we already answered. It's going to be Tourney X to 100%. Josh Evans, I missed the championship details, but will this series be a qualifier for the Team USA slots? No, it has nothing to do with Team USA.
I don't even know who picks it. That was a conversation that popped up. I don't know who gets to pick those teams.
I want to say Eric Jackson is kind of
EJ, had
ahead of that. So yeah, we don't. This is, even though it says USA Bassin, it's not the same as USA Bass. This is a completely different animal altogether. Let's see. Scrolling through the comments. Yeah,
maybe we can get with EJ Chad. Be like, hey, if we can take our Jackson Kayak Classic champion and give him a slot on Team USA, and
there you go.
We'll leverage all that information.
There you go. But yeah, that's kind of the skinny on it really right now.
We don't have a location for the classic yet.
Not yet.
It's all pending at the moment, I believe, isn't it, Jason? It
is. We would like, tourism bureaus, as a lot of you waiting on a bass schedule know, there's extra money that can get tossed in, and we want to support communities that support us, and we also want to support our local dealers for JK. So we're trying to find an area that wants us there, and a dealership that is also there to partner with us, so we can make the best championship experience possible with demo boats. Help promote the dealer, help promote Jackson Kayak, and any other company that steps up to help run the tournament trail and push it forward. We want to help give back as much as possible. So that's a big piece of the puzzle, to make sure we can incorporate our sponsors as much as we can. So
and for this thing to grow, it takes directors. It takes people that are willing to step up and run a division. I think is the biggest thing that makes this whole thing go. We've all three ran divisions before, and it's a good experience. It's a great way to get to know people and become a pillar within that community. Zach and I started that way.
Yeah. If you're going to be there fishing the tournaments anyway, it's really not that much extra work.
And that's the thing, like Zach just mentioned, tournament directors can and are encouraged to fish the event as well. We've got, people like myself or, Chad or, a handful of volunteers already that will, if you need help scoring fish or something like that, so you can actually concentrate a little bit on fishing that derb. I don't mind at all. Give me a phone call and I'll judge fish for you all day. I love looking at fish. So, tournament directors are allowed to fish and are encouraged to. You know what I mean? So,
and the tournament directors actually, if they want to, it is built into the payouts where they can actually make a few bucks. Into the USA Bass and Rules, they do not have to make a few bucks if they don't want to. They can pay back as much. They can pay back their winning their make if they want to. So that is an option that the tournament director has. But we need tournament directors, obviously. So if you're interested in this USA Bass and you think it's something that fits where you live, or you want it to fit where you live, just to have a chance to come to this classic, or you want to come try it out this year while everything's free and see what it's all about, let us earn your trust. Sign up to be a director. All three of us, Zach and I, started our media career, I guess.
It's the reason we are. It's the reason we are where we are right now.
Yeah, it's legitimately the reason that we are where we are. We started. We started in sponsorships and marketing with USA Bassin and running a trail, and they still today carry one of our original sponsors that we brought on with Hoorag and some of the others to USA Bassin,
who is still a very close friend of ours.
Yeah, and it's it's a great organization, and we're proud to be part of it at Jackson Kayak. It's very cool to have started my career there as part of it, and then now coming back with Jackson Kayak, being a sponsor and seeing the thing go tenfold, and hopefully watching this thing blow up through the eyes of Jason Cassetty.
Good grief. I mean, I think we even started out, we ran a few of their divisional Facebook pages in the beginning, so it could be where we got our social media management started.
Yeah, we did a lot. That's kind of where our start came from. So, and somebody like Jason has been there before, and now he's a national tournament director. So it's a good opportunity. It can do a lot of good things for you. It can do a lot of good things for your dealer, and most importantly, it'll help you meet and get to know a lot of people within your local kayaking community.
True that. Well said, sir.
Absolutely.
I try every now and then. I
try to formulate a coherent sentence.
Coherent sentence. Yeah. So we hope you guys are excited about this. I know we are.
You remember the picture I have of you at Bass Pro that time talking at the tank where you were like this?
For people that don't know, I will tell this story on myself. Being a younger version of myself before I was used to talking to all these people all the time. I worked with Bass Pro Shop, and we got to go. I got to go fishing in the tank around Christmas time and do the demos in the tank. So I got my little Bass Pro jersey on, nitro, and I'm up there and I'm getting ready to go. And this young man now that we were friends with, he looks right at me dead in the eyes. He goes, "Don't screw up."
Pressure.
And I get up there on the tank and I look out, and if you've ever been to a Bass Pro around Christmas time, you know what I'm talking about. There's literally a line that wraps from the front doors all the way around the fish tank and goes all the way back into where the boat department is, and it's full of people and kids, and they're all standing there looking at you, just waiting on you. I froze for what felt like 15 minutes up there on those rocks and on top of that thing, looking at these fish. And all of a sudden, the waterfall that's running down in the tank to aerate it shuts off, and it's like, oh gosh,
No.
oh, what do I do?
All those hungry fish just staring up at him, waiting to see what he's going to throw to him.
Luckily, I just started flipping a spinnerbait out there, and it came to me. So I made it through that one. But yeah, it probably wasn't as embarrassing to the people that were watching as it was to me, because what felt like 15 minutes was probably like 2. But it was, yeah.
And we filmed the whole thing from multiple angles. I don't know if I've still got footage of that somewhere or not. I surely do.
I just know I talked about spinnerbaits. It's been a long time.
Good time. Well, the night before, wasn't the night before when KVD, Zona, and Timmy Horton were all there.
Yeah.
Tough act to follow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's Chad Brock. Who's this guy?
We fish out of a John boat on the weekend.
Yeah. About lost her in the river. You guys should have seen it. Zona, come film with us. It'll be a surprise.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, good times. But yeah, so the year, and that was actually, that all happened through USA Bassin too. So, I mean, there is good opportunities that can arise from USA Bassin. So,
100%.
With that being said, well, you got anything else to add, Jason? This is your show. I'm just kind of taking over. Sorry.
So, yeah, we're just we're dotting our I's and crossing T's. Kind of redoing the handbook to fit the kayak side, making sure all the rules are good for everybody. So I know there's a lot of questions. I've been fielding a lot of questions on different social medias and DMs and whatnots, but we're getting everything formulated together real quick. Should have all the rules and everything done by the end of this week, ironed out and done by the end of this week, first next week. And as divisions start popping up and we get some concrete divisions, we'll start pumping that stuff out to everybody so they can see it if there's something in their area. And like Chad mentioned, if you do want to start up a division, feel free to reach out. I'm sure we could probably link something in there to find me. You can find me on Jason Cassetty Fishing on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, whatever. I think that's my email address too. So just make sure you spell my name right, like you got it on the screen there, and add fishing and you'll get to me. We look forward to it, and can't wait to get out there. I just want to thank Jackson Kayak for their support, Orion Coolers, obviously. A few of my other sponsors, Rogue Disc. We talked about the hand warmers / pastry toaster. Some really fun, cool. They sell a lot of disc golf equipment, so they're super awesome. Planet Fitness, Black Dog Brewing Company, Basco Fishing. Get a hold of these guys. They make a lot of cool swag. They're that fishing lifestyle gear. And my girlfriend Nicole, gotta give. She's my number one fan, and I love her to pieces and thank her for her support. And I think that's all I got for now.
Okay.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, did you guys start a Facebook page for that trail? So
yes, so there is
update that with info and stuff as it comes in.
Yeah, so there is a USA Bassin Kayak Series. Again, USA Bassin Kayak Series group page on Facebook right now. That if Jason is taking, if you message Jason and he's taking a little bit to get back to you, do not panic. He will get back to you. This to tell you how fast this thing grew today. We had like 184 members earlier today in this group page. That was an upstart thing, and we're up to 542 in just a few hours of this.
I didn't even know that. So that's
great.
Yeah, that's this thing going live. Yeah, there's invites pending all day long. Believe me, I can see the group page just the same as he can. But yeah, if you guys are interested in looking for more information, that's a great place to start right now. The details are going to be emerging. Like I said, this thing is literally, I mean, we've known about it for a couple months, but it's to be public, it's literally quite hot off the press as far as growing. And there's a lot more information that's going to come after the first year as this thing starts laying out.
Correct. Yeah, it's. I mean, we just ripped this reveal Band-Aid off. I mean, it is.
Yeah, we ripped it off about 2 hours ago.
Super. Yeah, we're working out, and it's like, yeah, screw it, man, let's go. I mean, we got to get it out to the people. I don't like when schedules and everything get delayed and having that carrot dangle in front of you. We want to get it out to people as fast as we can, and I will give out any information I've got if I've got it, and it's pretty concrete. If you ask me, and I'll give it to you. I'm not going to hold anything back. So, yeah, ask questions, ask them often. If it takes me a minute, I'm pretty busy, but I will try to get back to you as soon as I can. And Chad did a solid by making my better half and an admin on this thing. She is really good on the keeping me in order because my organization skills suck. So she does a really good job at that. So no, you've got the better half of me helping y'all. So we'll get it going.
Nicole's going to be a rock star in this as well, so she may end up fielding some of your guys' questions along the way as well. And I'll try to help answer any that I can too. And I'm going to say it now. We don't know when the Classic's going to be. We don't know when all that's going to happen, but there's potential that the Orion podcast could go live wherever the Classic's at. We might, Zach and I might be there. You just never know.
You never know.
Yeah, might be there. So yeah, look forward to seeing all you guys at the USA Bass and Jackson Kayak Classic. It's a lot.
It sounds so good though. Like if you say that the way you just said it with your like Barry White tone,
get real deep, start getting sensual.
Yeah,
it sounds good.
I think you're on something. There you go.
But yeah, so look forward to seeing you guys at the USA Bass and Jackson Kayak Classic. Hope you're as excited about it as we are. We hope you enjoyed this little announcement. Hope we taught you a little bit of something. Zach, sign us off.
Bye.
Yeah,
we'll see you later. No, we got 2 weeks. 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
What's the date? 20.
My tablet doesn't show me. Gosh, so many activities. 27th.
27th. Wow. So it'll be post Christmas. We'll have all kinds of stuff to chat about. Hopefully,
come back and see what me and Zach got for Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how good I've been this year, but we'll find out. So
yeah.
Hopefully I got another deer in the freezer, and we got some work, media creation, photo, video stories to talk about. But
well, if you don't get it done, I'm going to make Jason go outside and stand in the cold and put the camera in his face. So,
yeah.
Look forward to working with you guys this summer. All right, guys. Thanks.
We will see you on the 27th.
Hey, so everybody have a Merry Christmas then.
Yes.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
If you're traveling and we don't see you before the new year, have a happy new year, y'all.
Absolutely.
Bye-bye.
Later.